Welcome to the 12th chapter of Export and Import, covering international business in the future. We will give you some ideas how the future will influence you and your company. We will describe factors like the future markets, long-term development of the world economy, trade, population, labor force, customers, and technology. The world is changing rapidly along with economies, and there is more turbulence than ever before. What happens in one country influences a broad range of nations, in either positive or negative ways. Economies and trade are shifting from west to east, and new technologies at work or at home guides daily life. How will the future look like? Gross domestic product is increasing. GDP growth is mainly achieved by growing populations, the number of people in workforce, and increased productivity. The newest fast-growing countries are the emerging economies that accounted for 80% of world economic growth in 2010. That growth was estimated to increase GDP fivefold by 2050. North America and Europe's GDP was 41% of the world GDP in 2010, but will be only 17% in 2050. Asia's developing countries will go from 27% to 49%. Africa is another growing continent. Even if there is a slowdown in emerging markets, it will still increase rapidly, going from a GDP growth between 8 to 10% to 4 to 6%. Compare that with industrial countries, 1 to 2%. The middle class, who are large consumers, is increasing very fast in the new countries. In 2013, there were 1,426 billionaires in the world, of which 442 was in USA, 386 in Asia and Pacific, 122 in China, 366 in Europe, 110 in Russia, Middle East and Africa had 103. Trade is growing twice as fast as GDP, but the major trade increase is in the developing countries. Trade is also changing rapidly in a new direction. The emerging markets are not only large consumers, they are also the future market for infrastructure. Emerging markets consume 55% of the world's oil, 65% of the world's copper, and 75% of the world's steel. E-commerce is a global market, business to business, worth $12 trillion per year. This represents 30% of all business transactions. Advertising is now digital on the internet, mobile phones, and tablets. Traditional advertising newspapers is a declining market. The world population is growing with about 80 million people per year. This is the same as Germany's total population every year. More and more of the population are moving into urban centers. Aging populations will hit some countries hard with reduced labor force and increased medical costs. By 2050, 1 in 5 will be over the age of 60. The winner of this trend will be countries with medical tourism, as people are not willing to accept long waiting times for traditional health services. Emerging markets will increase their labor force with 1.5 billion people between 2010 and 2050, while the developed regions' workforce will reduce with 100 million. Europe will have 25% of population over 65 years of age by 2035. The developing regions will have more people per capita at a young age. The dominant part of the population, about 50%, is under the age of 25, increasing the numbers participating in the workforce. Many of these workers will have low wage levels. Today, China and India account for about 40% of the world's labor force. Future jobs will change to more high-tech and flexible jobs, job sharing and working from a distance, telecommuting. Because of low birth rate in industrial countries, they need to continuously import workers to keep their industry going, but also to create a younger population. Canada needs 250,000 to 300,000 immigrants per year, plus temporary workers to satisfy the demand for skilled workers. USA have a similar demand. The manufacturing industry has no borders. Companies locate their manufacturing close to their customers, or there is a cost advantage. Transport costs, shipping schedules, or customs duties can be factors when you decide your manufacturing country. The same is applicable for research and development. More and more R&D is done overseas. Purchases of services and products have become global to minimize costs and speed delivery times. In the past, industrial nations invested in emerging markets for low-cost production. Now emerging markets invest in industrial nations to secure delivery of raw materials. China invests in oil and gas, minerals, etc. They also will need uranium for 60 new nuclear power stations and iron ore to produce steel. Outsourcing started with call centers in India and Philippines, but has now diversified. Doctors in Europe and North America send diagnostic images to India and Philippines. It's all digital over internet. Results are sent back the same day at much lower cost than done at the source, where the cost for radiologists is much higher. 5 million jobs have transferred from traditional employees to India, China, and Philippines at the value of trillions of dollars. Financial analysis for stockbrokers is outsourced to overseas experts. Legal analysis for large court cases more often handled by trained professionals offshore. Nearshoring. Instead of placing manufacturing in faraway overseas markets with long transport and difficult communication, companies in the US try to find new locations nearby, like car manufacturing in Latin America, especially Mexico and Brazil. Technology is already changing the ways we live and work. Tomorrow will be much different. We will be picked up by a driverless car. Our bathroom mirror will analyze our health in the morning and advise us what actions to take. 3D printers will print our spare parts for home repair and also body parts. Our medicine is going to be tailor-made to our genes, and we will know in advance the risk we have for different medical conditions. Robots will take over much of the work both in industry and at home. Your home computer will be programmed to control almost everything in the house. Vertical farms and fish farms will be located in high-rise buildings, minimizing the need for traditional farms and reducing the water consumption, fertilizer, and there is no need for pesticides. We will produce artificial meat called Vitameat in factories instead of farms. Those are only samples of the future technologies already in the pipeline. We all need more energy, at the same time we are trying to save energy. China uses only 1/10 of energy per capita compared with US. The same is applicable for most emerging markets. That will change. The world is trying to reduce emissions, and especially dirty ones like coal. However, demand for energy will increase, and hopefully renewable energy will take a bigger part. Solar power, ground heating, wind power, tidal energy, hybrid power are some of the renewable energies increasing in demand. Nuclear power use will increase. It will double or triple between 2015 and 2030, with a major increase in Asia. 16 countries rely on nuclear power for at least 25% of their energy. 25% of energy in Europe, 75% in France, and 30% in Japan. Developing world will soon surpass OECD countries in oil consumption. Coal consumption in India and China will double between 2005 and 2030, 70% of global increase. The jobs of the future are changing. More and more of the traditional work will be either taken over by robots, 3D printing, or other type of automation. There will be a requirement for workers to continuously update skills and adapt to changes in technology and production. Activities that cannot be automated will increase the demand for better education and for higher technical skills. India has 300 universities and will need 1,500. 11,200 institutes for higher learning produce 6,000 PhDs, 200,000 engineers, and 300,000 science graduates and postgraduates annually. China produces 5 million university graduates per year, but they always need more. China is lacking trained workers. By 2030, there will be a need for more than 980,000 airline pilots in the world, up from 460,000 today. The cost of trained pilots average between $50,000 and $100,000. China will need 2,200 civil aviation pilots per year, or 40,000 by 2025. The shortage of labor creates job hopping that is a big problem today. China requires an additional 120,000 medical doctors. They have a shortage of 500,000 information technology technicians. Software developers are high in demand, which has caused the shortage. Online gambling is international. Video gaming was valued $91 billion in 2015. Video games on smartphones will reach 11.4 billion. Movies, computerized generated images, for instance Avatar, creates a special need for future of movie making and also of software driven. The future for software developers is very strong. The future is already here. It's tough to keep updated when things are changing so fast. You think you're updated to find out that the situation has already changed. Welcome to the world in transition. I have given you some samples from the chapter International Business in the Future. If you do not have the book yet, visit our website, exportpro.com, click Look Inside, and you will see the full introduction to the book, reading instructions, table of content, and the first page of each chapter. There is plenty of other useful information on our website, like articles, videos, question and answer, seminars and workshops, and an extensive list of useful links. You can also search for specific topics in the search area, like cash against document, and it will take you to a place on the website that is described or searched for currency, and it will give you a number of sources on that topic. I hope you got some ideas what is covered in this chapter of the book. Each chapter has more detailed information on each subject. Good luck in your international business. Please remember, international business is not only export, but a two-way trade including importing, joint venture, licensing, and much more. Visit our website exportpro.com for more information.